One final Jonesboro storyline did not come from the course, but came from social media, which was Brodie Smith's Twitter yet again. I feel like it's been a while since we've got a storyline from Brodie Smith's Twitter, but here it is. So initially, he just put out a tweet with a screenshot of the Jonesboro payout, and his whole point was on the players pack, because all the players got a mug and I think a dinner. That was the players pack, right? And he was saying, I really wish that money would just go back into the pot.
Yeah, it was like $5,500 in the breakdown was like
players pack.
Allocated. It just said players pack. Yeah.
Which Jeff Spring quickly replied and stated those are just donated items and an assumed value was assigned to them. Getting rid of them wouldn't actually add to the pro purse. So no storyline there.
Problem solved, right?
Problem solved. It. Well, people from that post started making other comments regarding the actual payout. So someone responded and said, they should only pay $30 in my opinion. About $7,000 more to spread out and can make first place $10,000. Every Pro Tour event should give $10,000 to first. Jeff Spring replies, PDJ policy is top 40% cash and for good reason. Purses continue to grow. That's what gets us to 10K, not redistribution. We're getting there one step at a time. The 27,500 added cash here is an achievement for the event team. Disc Golf Pro Tour purses are trending in the right direction. You know, he's right. The 27,500 added cash is a huge achievement. We'll talk about the rest of it in a second. Another response said, I 100% agree that payouts need to be much more top-heavy. Someone placing 29th shouldn't get $500. That seems crazy. Jeff Spring responds, tied 30th right now, shot 10.27, and someone like Brian Earhart, for example, a touring pro, definitely can use the $500 payout he's earning from a great performance to keep his touring season solvent. Very difficult to come in top 30 Disc Golf Pro Tour Elite Series events. Before
you get into it, I just want to make one quick comment. The fact that he uses the argument of, well, 30th place shot 10.27, basically saying like it's so hard to even get 30th. That's irrelevant. Like that's
you came in 30th.
Yeah, you still came in 30th. Like
you lost to 29 players.
That's what I'm saying. Like
it's just harder to come in the top 29.
Yeah, like that whole like throwing the rating thing in there, I was like, that is completely irrelevant. Like I understand how hard it is to play on tour and disc golf. Like I couldn't even sniff a rating that high, but like there are guys that can beat that every single week. So let's not punish them because of how hard it is to come in 29th. So
all right, let's do this.
Now you can go ahead.
Okay, this is probably
that
gonna
was
be
ridiculous.
This is probably going to be me talking for a little bit, and then we'll get Trevor's input after because I've got a lot of research here.
I think I have some notes on this.
Got a lot of numbers here. So first, I want to tackle the redistribution part. Okay, specifically, he says purses continue to grow. That is what gets us to $10,000. Talking about $10,000 going to first place, not redistribution. So let's look at it. If we take this same purse and plug it into the payout calculator that we use for the Balfour Bedford and all these events, and we pay out 50 players, so still 40% of the field, the exact same added cash that they used, this is the MPO purse, last cash takes home $240. Okay, which that's more than what they paid to enter.
Yeah.
It's less than what they would get. I think they got $330 if I remember correctly.
Right.
So a little bit less, $90 less. And first place takes home $10,105, a $4,000 increase. $4,000, that got us to $10,000 with redistribution right there. Not a single dollar more came in, and we didn't cut any players that are getting paid, simply redistributed it. Since 30 place was the spot that Jeff Spring used, let's look at that spot specifically. In this place, with the redistribution, 30 place takes home $375 instead of $490, so he lost $120. Now, people can already hear you commenting. We want to argue 30th place needs that money to tour. They need that money to tour. How dare you take that money from them? So let's look at it, right? So for the people who want to argue that, we're sacrificing $120 from 30th place, but let's look deeper at this. Jeff Spring brought up Brian Earhart. So we're going to look specifically at him for this year. Year to date, he has made $2,265 from tournament earnings. These events, he's had to pay roughly $900 in entry fees. Okay, we're not going to assume that his entry fees are covered. They could be, but if you're looking at someone who's coming in 30th place regularly or around that, you know, it's hard to imagine a sponsorship deal is paying his entry fees. But for this, we're going to estimate, put those in. So $900 in entry fees are being taken out. This equates to him getting $341.25 a month. So let's just pause there for a second, and I think we can all acknowledge that he's not living solely on this.
No.
He's not living solely on $341.25 a month. Nobody in his shoes is living solely on that because that wouldn't even cover your travel expenses on the road. Okay? So this is where I think our mindset needs to shift. It's not the Pro Tour's responsibility to make sure 30th place can survive on the road, because if it is, they're not doing a good job at it right now because you $341. But let's keep looking at this, right? You also have to remember 30th place isn't even cashing every week because someone who's in 30th place is going to spike up some weeks and spike down some weeks. So we're going to keep with Brian Earhart. We're going to use the redistribution method, okay? For every event that he's played this year, it's only 4. I went through and did that. So right now he's at $2,265 on tournament earnings. If all those earnings had redistributed to where it was more top heavy, he would be at $2,147. He would lose $118 over the course of this year so far.
Right.
Once you factor in the entry fees and divide it out, that's $311.75 a month that he would be getting. So he'd be losing $30 a month so that our winners could be taking home $10,000.
Right.
And that is without adding a single dollar to the Pro Tour purse. That's without taking a single dollar out of the Pro Tour purse. That's what's still paying 40% of the field. And you're barely sacrificing anything, $30 a month to the player coming in 30th place. That's not making a huge difference in him being on tour or him not being on tour.
Sure.
And we're paying the top player $10,000. I mean, how many more times do I have to keep saying this? Redistribution is the answer for right now if we want to give the top players this type of money. What is it, $6,000? Is that making headlines? No. Is the purse of $27,000 added cash making headlines outside of the sport? No. Is someone making $10,000 winning a disc golf tournament? Possibly.
Better chance.
Probably. A lot better chance. When someone made $20,000, we had a lot of people talking about it, did we not?
Right, yeah.
So if these players are making $10,000 winning week in and week out, that's going to do so much more for the growth, and we're not sacrificing pretty much anything. Like, I don't want to hear about 30th place because I just broke it down for you. This is not changing how they live on the road. $30, what is that? He's driving an RV. It's not even half a tank of gas. It's not. Like, what is he sacrificing there? Yeah. And at some of these tournaments, he ends up making more money because now if he places higher, he's actually getting more money. So someone in his shoes who already, it's obvious, he's not living on just tournament winnings, right? He has Tour Series discs. He's probably doing clinics. He's got tons of other income, tons of other streams of income to keep him on the road. I am sure that these players would be willing to be like, yeah, you know what? I'll sacrifice that $30 because I think I'm going to get there someday. He's not on the road to just happy to stay in 30th place.
I think
if these players are fully touring and their dream is to be a touring disc golfer, the majority of them think I can get in that top 20. I can get there.
Yeah, probably top 20, yeah.
So then why would they not want the chance at making more money?
Yeah.
Because the higher you go up this leaderboard, eventually this number of you're losing $30 a month shifts to where now you're making hundreds of dollars more a month.
Right.
As you go up the leaderboard. I don't know. Every time I read stuff like that, it just gets me going because if you look at it and you actually break it down and you actually do the math, then that's not true. Like, it's not true. Redistribution can get us there. I agree. The purses should continue to grow. As the purses grow, though, then the purses growing don't get us to $10,000. We're already there. Mm-hmm. We have the money to get to $10,000 right now. Purses don't grow to get us to 10. The purses grow to get us to 20. Purses grow to get us 15, 20, 30.
Right.
If we continuously don't redistribute this the right way as we grow, and he also at one point said, look at the PGA. This is the PGA. Like, what I did basically almost exactly matches up with how the PGA does payout.
Yeah.
So I did look at the PGA, and we're not close.
Yeah. Well, a couple things. So, first of all, I do think when he mentioned like Earhart and whoever needing like that $500 to tour, I don't think he's talking about it in the sense of he's living off of it. I think he's more saying like that might pay for his groceries for that month. Like, it's part of what helps him make a living. Because if you think about it that way, $300, it does make a little bit of difference. Although
it's $311 versus $340.
Right. I do agree though. I do agree that redistribution of the pot is a lot less dramatic than the Pro Tour guys make it sound.
Yeah.
Like, it is very slight. Like you mentioned, $30 a month. Like, I think we can let that one slide. If $30 a month makes or breaks you, you probably shouldn't be on the tour.
Yeah, like go find a painting job for 3 hours a month, and you got your $30 back.
DoorDash. You could literally DoorDash for like 3 nights, and you just made it back. And
you just made your $30 back.
There we go. DoorDash needs to be an official partner.
We always have to remember that the Disc Golf Pro Tour, these players are not Disc Golf Pro Tour employees.
Right.
These players are playing in tournaments and competing.
Here's let me try and if I'm sitting in the Pro Tour's shoes, though, they're in a tough spot. And the reason why they're in a tough spot is because they're a young enough tour that I think they're still really trying to stay on the good side of the majority of the players. And when we talk about disc golf, like we just talked about at the beginning of the show, there's about 3 to 5 guys that have a chance of winning. So they can't side with those guys as much as they have to side with the other 50. So like they're trying to make everybody happy, which I think is a problem with disc golf sometimes. But like I think they're just in their such infancy right now that they're just trying to keep everybody wanting to play on the Pro Tour.
Here's my problem, right? Is because another thing people say is you need those low spots. Maybe I'll have to do this math next week. You need those low spots to make the purses this. No, you don't.
No, that's not what I'm saying.
I know that's not what you're saying.
I'm saying
they
want the people. I don't think they're talking about the money when they talk about those spots. They want the guys because disc golf is tight knit community. They want all the guys on the same tour.
But what I'm saying is, if you're trying to keep those lower, first off, if you did this next week, half the players probably aren't even noticing.
I agree. I'm just playing devil's advocate.
I agree. I understand that. I'm just coming right back with you. Half the players probably aren't even noticing, and if they do, and Brian Earhart's looking at that, and he's not thinking. I mean, I can't speak for him. Yeah. Okay, but in my head, I'm not looking at it and thinking, oh my word, I might sacrifice $100 this week, but now I have the chance to win $10,000.
Yeah.
If I win.
I'll say this though too.
Who's competitive on tour and is upset at that?
Right. I'll say this too. Like I do think there are a lot of complacent pros that are just cool with like trying to get around 20th to 30th place and like just like stay alive on tour. I think not too long from now, maybe 5 years from now, the Pro Tour can do whatever they want. And if a player's like, oh, I can't do this, like this is so unfair at the payout, there'll just be somebody else that'll just be like, well, then I'll take your spot on the Pro Tour. Because the field of disc golfers that are good is just getting larger and larger. So once it gets to the point where A, the Pro Tour is the tour, they've established themselves and there's just no question that they're the entity for the future. And B, there's such a larger pool of guys who are really good, then they can do whatever they want with the payout because, like I said, like if a guy's like, well, I can't afford to do this or I just don't want to do it, it's not fair, there'll just be somebody else who'll just whoop, 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 walk right into that spot.
Is that not the case right now?
I'm not sure. Because we see the same names on tour very consistently, and every once in a while somebody pops in. But I don't know if like the 30th to 50th place just fell off the face of the earth. I don't know if 20 guys could step in and would A, be willing to do that because of how hard it is to tour, and B, would be good enough. I don't know. I'm not sure.
Well, you also have to remember right now.
To test those waters.
Right now, it probably would still fill from players within 3-hour radius.
That's also true, but here's another point for the Pro Tour is they want to have a tour because they want the same names to be recognized each week. So I think what they're doing, and I think what Jeff Springs is getting at, and I still think the pot should be redistributed because I think you can do that, but I think what Jeff Springs' big thing is he's trying to keep the same 50 guys or whatever consistently touring to build familiarity with the tour field. And like I kind of understand what he's going with, but like I said, I think it's just going to be a matter of the sport growing financially and like more good players coming around. Because like right now on the PGA Tour, if some dude who's consistently coming in 50th place just said, I'm not doing this anymore, I mean, just like look at your local, there's a golfer within 50 miles of you right now who is really good at golf. Like there's so many good golfers. But disc golf, it's a little harder. Like you might have a local tournament and have like 2 guys maybe in the pro field that are rated over 1,000. You might not even have a single one. So like I think it's just a little bit more sparse, but it's quickly trending upwards to where people keep getting into the game. And they're like, look at Brodie Smith, an athletic guy with a Frisbee background. He is a top 20 professional, and it took him less than a year practically. Like, so as more guys like him decide to get into the sport, guys who have athletic backgrounds who are committed to it, that field will grow. But I think Springs is just trying to be careful.
To figure out how, if you just did this isn't a big announcement because right now, how people decide.
I just don't think he wants to rock the boat.
How's it rocking the boat? How people decide payout right now? How do people even know?
People make.
If I asked you what percentage of the purse first place takes home.
I mean, it's been a pretty relevant topic though. Like
no one knows.
Brodie tweeting out the payout scale like every week. He would tweet about it and then everybody would know. Like we would talk about it and then everybody would know. Like somebody will know because sports information gets out.
Yeah, but I'm saying is, would there actually be enough players?
And those touring pros are scouring. They scour those payout scales, I'm sure.
If next week, let's say DDO, let's just say 2 weeks from now, not even on the Pro Tour, they did this. They redistributed the purse and did this way. How many players are not playing?
Not playing, absolutely zero. But would there be some like a bit of like anger around it, and a little bit of like not so sure about the Pro Tour? Possibly. I don't think you would rock. I don't think you could ever rock the boat enough to legitimately like
if
get
you
players
changed it to where you were only paying out 25.
Right, but I'm saying with this redistribution, I don't think it's ever going to rock the boat enough to like legitimately like these guys are going to strike and form their own tour. I think they're just a little bit scared of it.
That's what I'm saying. What are they? But that's what I'm trying to get is, what are you scared of?
I
What?
think, yeah.
You're scared of them still playing the tour, but just not being happy with you?
Well, that's a legitimate thing, because they know, like, even as much as
what is the
how you gotta
40th to
weigh
60th place? What are they gonna do if they're a little upset because they made 90 bucks
you just gotta weigh
less?
risk versus reward. Because okay, so like risk is making maybe 30 players in our field of like a 30 players to 35 players in a field of 50 angry.
That's not accurate, because if you're looking at it, right, the players who might slip down in there, the 30 to 50, that is going to be mixed with local pros.
No, but you got to remember,
players that are actually top 15 players that would be happy with this.
Top 15 players, even if they are okay because they're going to get more money, these guys are like brothers on tour. They're going to be all talking about how Brian Earhart can't make a living now, or Trevor Harbaugh.
Because he lost $30 a month?
I'm not saying it's rational. Remember, I agree with that point that you made about redistribution. I'm just saying, like, this is what
just
they
present
will
them
do.
with the facts. If someone says it, be like,
you know,
look.
you and I both know that people aren't a huge fan of facts these days, man. I'm just saying. I'm saying
if the Pro Tour, if someone said something to them and they're like, look, we're able to use it.
When you mess with people's money and they're like making fragile livings on tour, even if it's a few bucks here, a few bucks there, they will go after your necks.
What's the Pro Tour?
Each other's
what
necks.
I think the bigger risk is the Pro Tour right now is very well established, right?
Yeah, it's pretty well established, yeah.
If they still are young enough that if there was a tour that did it, and every weekend the winner is getting $10,000, they could still wipe the Pro Tour off the face of the earth right now.
Yeah, but it would take
and I have
before
heard
something like that can
from
get
reputable
organized.
sources that the Pro Tour has been worried about stuff like that.
Yeah, I know, but before something like that could ever get formed, I think they would fix them, like they would fix their structure.
So if you know it's a problem and you would fix it if it got formed, then why are we just living with it as a problem?
Because I just don't think it's in their minds, it's just not a big enough problem yet. That's all.
See, I think that is one of the biggest things hindering the sport, personally, is people will always look at, when they look from the outside, they're not looking at contract numbers, they're not looking at any of that. They're looking at tournament
contract
numbers. There's only one to look at.
I know, but like, as you know, that's gonna be the trend now, though. They'll look at contract.
We'll
numbers.
have to see.
I don't know if they'll ever be one big enough to look at again.
Will there be ones that, like, I feel like some players would be kind of embarrassed to release their contract numbers.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Paul's.
Like, I don't know if how many will get released.
That's what I'm saying.
But
right up to this point, if you're looking at tournament winnings, and you're saying you're not caring that whatever had 30,000 added. You're saying that dude won a Pro Tour event, an Elite Series event, and took home $5,000.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
you're not looking at 30th place took home 500.
I think the 5-figure mark, when you hit 10,000, like $10,000 just sounds so much more than $9,000. Like, I think the 5-figure mark is a little bit significant. I'd like to see it get there. I don't know. I think it's an issue from somebody within the sport who like thinks that the guys who are winning, because I'm just a big fan of like guys who want to win on tour and are like cutthroat, and I'm a fan for like a cutthroat tour. That's
that's another thing is, why are we rewarding the guys that are in 30th place instead of rewarding the guys that have dedicated their life to being first?
That's what I'm saying. I'm a fan of like cutthroat tour cards, qualification, like earn it type thing. Like basically everything the Super League didn't stand for, if you guys ever followed that storyline. But a lot of disc golf is very much pro, let's scratch everybody's back. So that's why I mostly disagree with this payout structure, is because I like the whole idea, like, yeah, you got to go out and win. Like, I don't want guys on tour that are like just complacent. Like, I want guys who want to win. But I don't know. I'm not as angry about it as you are, but I do agree that like there's no reason it shouldn't be fixed.
I just don't understand it. Like, it's such an easily fixable problem. And what really bugged me is that, like, he literally goes, that's what gets us 10,000, not redistribution. Redistribution gets us 10,000. Like, I can run the numbers 10 different ways. We're there. Yeah. We're already here. Again, the money is in the sport. It's just not going to the right people.
Maybe next year.
And that's not even just talking about redistribution. There's money. Like, I don't even want to talk about half it.
You think we can get enough for Battle for Bedford next year to get to 10K?
I don't know. We'd have to raise a lot of added money. But I can tell you one thing. With 10,000 added cash to the Battle for Bedford, the winner of Battle for Bedford will be taking home more money than some of these Pro Tour events.
Yeah, it's true.
or close to it. Silver Series, probably more than most Silver Series.
Yeah.
And guess what? I probably won't hear a complaint.
No. Yeah.
Because who doesn't want to show up for a chance to win that?
It's a hot topic right now, man. It's a hot topic.
All right, it's time to cool things down.
I can't get fired up while you're fired up because then things will just get loud.
I mean,
somebody has to be like
you're
the
right.
ice. Somebody's
You're
got to be
right.
the fire. Because I get fired up about that.
I
if
mean,
I wanted to.
one thing about it is like since we only talk about disc golf on the show, there's only so many topics to get into, right? But when you like week after week see a topic like this get brought up, and week after week see it get brushed to the side and the wrong answers get put out, I just get more and more and more ticked off.
I get that.
Because like the answer is in like it's right in front of you. It's sitting there.
I would pay a good bit of money to sit in on like Pro Tour board meetings and hear like what they talk about and see if there's just something that they know that we don't know, that which is like, oh yeah, I didn't consider that. Or if it's just like, no, like there's just not making any sense. Like I wonder
I mean,
what it's like in there.
if there was something like
To be a fly on the wall, you know.
I mean, surely they've ran the numbers, but no,
sure.
actually they haven't, because he says that's not what gets us 10K. Not like redistribution doesn't. If he had
Well,
ran the
I
numbers,
don't
he would
think
know that.
I don't think he meant literally.
Well, then why would he tweet it?
I think that's what he meant. He meant like that's not the way we want to get to 10.
That's what he should have said. But I still think it's wrong.
It was a tweet.